Whispers in the wilderness. In the heart of the Navajo Nation, where the vast desert stretched as far as the eye could see, lived a small, tight-knit community of the Dine people. They held deep respect for their traditions, especially the sacred knowledge that had been passed down through generations about the enigmatic beings known as Skinwalkers. Jin was a young, curious Navajo boy who had grown up hearing stories of skinwalkers from his grandmother, Sani. She told him that these shape-shifting witches possessed dark powers, allowing them to transform into any animal they chose, wielding the malevolent forces of darkness. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the land, Jin ventured out to the remote outskirts of their village with his grandmother. They gathered herbs in the fading light, a tradition passed down through the ages, believed to protect against the sinister forces of the Skinwalkers. The desert was alive with sounds: the whisper of the wind through the sagebrush, the distant howl of coyotes, and the rhythmic beat of their hearts. As Jin and Sani collected herbs, an eerie sense of being watched sent shivers down their spines. They felt the presence of something unnatural, something lurking in the shadows. Sani halted their work and turned her gaze to the distant hills. She whispered to Jin, "We're not alone, my child. The Skinwalkers are real, and they are watching us." Jin, though filled with dread, could not avert his eyes from the distant hills, where shadows seemed to move with a malevolent intent. The two gathered their herbs and hurried back to their village, the feeling of being pursued lingering in their minds. Days turned to weeks, and Jin couldn't shake the unsettling sensation of being watched. He noticed strange occurrences: a strange wolf that seemed to follow him as he gathered firewood, an owl that stared at him with unnaturally intelligent eyes, and bizarre encounters with animals in the wilderness that seemed to be mocking him. One night, while his grandmother was away attending a ceremony, Jin awoke to the eerie sound of a flute playing somewhere outside. The music was hauntingly beautiful, but it sent a chill down his spine. Unable to resist the enchanting melody, he got up and followed it into the desert. As Jin ventured deeper into the night, the desert transformed into a dark, foreboding place. He could barely see the stars through the thick canopy of clouds. The music led him to a cave entrance. It was said that skinwalkers often dwelled in such places, and yet the allure of the music was irresistible. He stepped into the cave, his heart pounding in his chest. Inside, the cavern seemed endless, with the echoes of the flute becoming louder and more distorted. Suddenly, the music ceased, and Jin found himself surrounded by an eerie, unnatural silence. From the darkness emerged a shape-shifting figure. It began to transform, its body contorting and stretching into a grotesque and inhuman shape. Jin could only watch in horror as it became a monstrous blend of man and beast. The Skinwalker spoke, its voice like a discordant symphony of wails. "You should not have followed the music, young one. Now, you are mine." Jin tried to flee, but the Skinwalker was upon him in an instant. It snatched him up with unnatural strength and held him captive. The creature's eyes glowed with an otherworldly malevolence as it whispered, "You are my captive now, and your life will be mine to control." As the creature's grip tightened, Jin's vision began to blur. He realized that he had fallen victim to the very legends his grandmother had warned him about. The Skinwalker had him in its grasp, and his fate was sealed. Back in the village, the Dine people could sense that something was amiss. Sani, with her deep knowledge of the Skinwalkers, knew that her grandson was in grave danger. She sought the help of the village's medicine men, the only ones who possessed the power to confront the malevolent beings. Under the cover of night, a group of medicine men embarked on a dangerous mission to rescue Jin. Armed with sacred chants, herbs, and ceremonial masks, they entered the cave, ready to face the Skinwalker. Inside, they were greeted by the echoing whispers and distorted music that the Skinwalker used to ensnare its victims. The air grew thick with dark energy as they ventured deeper. At last, they confronted the shape-shifting monster. With unwavering resolve, they performed a powerful chant, invoking the protective spirits of their ancestors. The Skinwalker writhed in agony as the sacred words struck it like a physical blow. It was forced to release Jin, who was returned to the safety of the medicine men. The Skinwalker, its malevolent power weakened, retreated deeper into the cave, vowing revenge. Jin, shaken but unharmed, was led out of the cave, and the medicine men sealed the entrance with sacred symbols to keep the Skinwalker imprisoned. The village was safe once more, but the legend of the Skinwalkers served as a stark reminder of the ancient and enigmatic forces that dwelled in the desert. As Jin and his grandmother returned to the village, they shared a newfound sense of caution and respect for the stories and traditions of their people. They knew that the Skinwalkers were real, and their power was not to be underestimated. The mysterious encounter with the Skinwalker became a cautionary tale for the Dine people, a reminder of the delicate balance between the human world and the supernatural. Jin, forever changed by his experience, grew to become a guardian of the ancient knowledge, passing down the stories of the Skinwalkers to future generations as a warning to always heed the wisdom of their ancestors. And in the heart of the Navajo nation, where the vast desert stretched as far as the eye could see, the spirits of the past whispered their eternal secrets, carrying the legacy of the Skinwalkers through the ages. This story delves into the rich lore of the Navajo Skinwalkers while creating an atmosphere of suspense and mystery. It highlights the importance of tradition, respect, and the consequences of disregarding the warnings of one's culture.